Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Lens of Truth, with me, Ivan Florentino, and for today's video, I finally edited the Mai Shiranui watercolor painting slash ink drawing. But before we get started, consider hitting that like button, ringing the bell, and leaving a comment. So, let's get to it. Now, before I get into the tutorial of this video, let's get a little bit of a backstory on who Mai Shiranui is. So she is a popular fictional character from SNK's Fatal Fury and the King of Fighters video game series. First appearing in Fatal Fury 2 in 1992, she quickly became one of SNK's most iconic characters. She is a highly skilled ninja and trained in Shirunai Ryu, ninjutsu, and Kopo-ken martial arts. Mai is known for her graceful yet deadly fighting style, which combines acrobatics, fire-based attacks, and fan-based techniques. Her signature move includes the Kachosen, the Fan Toss, and the Ryu Enbu, the Flame Spin attack. Mai is also recognized for her distinctive appearance. She wears a revealing red kunoichi outfit with long flowing tails, and her design emphasizes femininity and agility. Now for step number 1, I always use some kind of a light 2B, HB, or even in this case a drafting pencil. This is a super light pencil that I'm able to easily erase if I make any mistakes. And I was drawing on top of a watercolor paper because I am going to be using a variety of mediums for the finishing touches, including watercolor paint and ink pens. This is one of the best things to use because the paper will not wrinkle and it absorbs fairly quickly. You do not want to use regular paper for this. And for the most part, I was able to fit her entire body. So this was a fairly large drawing. Some of the fans were getting blocked off on the top right and her feet to the bottom left. And you weren't really able to see any of the tails that's part of her dress on the back side, but I kind of wanted to zoom in and kind of just focus on her face, her torso, and I left the white spaces on the right and all the way around her for fire and petals later on, just to give it a bit more of some flair with her fire attacks. Before I move on to the next step, which is the color, let's talk about her confidence and flirtatious personality is especially apparent in her interactions with Andy Bogard, a fellow fighter and her longtime love interest. Over the years, Mai has become a staple of fighting games and a fan favorite character, appearing in numerous spin-offs, anime adaptations, crossover games like Dead or Alive, Capcom vs SNK, and recently Street Fighter 6. Along with her personality, you can just tell that the way they designed her, all of this just fits well with her sexy allure and the way that she fights. And it's pretty cool and apparent that was one of the main focus in creating this character. She is basically what Chun-Li is to Street Fighter. Although Chun-Li is another attractive female, Mai Shiranui just happens to be a lot more revealing compared to her. And one of the things that you'll notice is that she has a lot of things that kind of flow, like her dress and the furry tail in back of her dress as well, which kind of looks like a fox. And what's pretty cool is that the red colors, her brown hair, is a pretty great design that kind of contrasts with her fair skin. And the way I colored this was use a light watercolor wash base so that I can know where exactly the colors will lay. So as you can see, it's fairly light when I used the peach color for her skin tone, the rosy pink for her dress. And you always want to start off with the base color before going any further with adding darker colors, because you want things to dry and see if it dries lighter or darker than normal. And because it's watercolor and we're using watercolor paper, things dry fairly quickly. Now, after it was fairly dry, I started to add some of the ink. And the reason I did this is I could either save this towards the very end, and because adding the ink will make things a lot more striking, and I can kind of gauge where I'm going to add the shadows, the midtones, and highlights, and all of those darker colors in between, adding the outlines and strands of hair, and all of those small details in between the final color steps. It makes it easier for me to know how much color I'm going to push. And again, with ink pens as well, you make sure they are completely dry. You do not want them to run when you add a wet brush, which I made a mistake on her lips and part of her eyes. But I will be covering that up with my white Jelly Roll pen, as you can see. Or you can even use white gouache paint as well. And for this final step, you'll see me adding the brighter reds where it's a bit more concentrated in color. So what I did was dipping the brush in water and making it a bit more rich by having less water, and you can see the huge difference when I add all of those darker skin tones in between her chest, the underarms, the neck area, the legs. Same thing that I did with her hair, the darker browns in the fan area. And finally, all the way around with the fire, I started using my fillable watercolor brush just to make things a little bit easier on myself. I was using a blend of traditional brushes and this fillable brush as well. And here's the final product after everything was dry, and I even went back to further refine some of those black ink lines and more details. And another tip, you can even use a cotton swab with water that was kind of running through the edges, and it makes it really easy to clean. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what you think of this fan art that I did, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.